We will move to our next speaker. And since we heard a little that AI could be a service, even from our previous speaker, we will look whether we can really use it as a service, connect to a cloud, and try to predict something on request, etc. And we have a very good guest for that, Jakub Kúdela from Microsoft, who will be presenting online and trying to tell us about all those opportunities, how you can do this online and in easy way. Can we hear each other?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
that's
me?
That's great. So the floor is yours. We are so interested.
Great. Thanks for giving me the word. It's my pleasure to present here. I'll be walking through this content that I call this presentation Machine Learning as a Service. It's all about how to use the power of the cloud to consume and even build machine learning models in the new, modern cloud era. Again, my name is Jakub Kúdela. I'm Azure Go-to-Market Manager for Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa, currently at Microsoft. Prior to that, I have BI and ML experience. I worked in different BI and ML departments in banking, in energy, and even with other big tech company. So I'm all about data and analytics. This is my passion, even though right now I hold this role of Azure Go-to-Market, which is mainly business-oriented role in Azure space. So, I was thinking how to start this presentation. I believe this overview of set of services is the best one how to kick it off. I wanted to give you an overview of how we think about AI at Microsoft. The bottom part will be the focus of this presentation. So I'll mainly focus on Azure AI, set of services around specific use cases. And I want to make this very practical. So mainly I'll be walking you through demos, through specific scenarios, so you can imagine what kind of business processes and what kind of challenges you can solve with AI. But I also wanted to touch briefly our applications in the form of mostly software as a service like Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, being Windows. This is what Microsoft is well known for sure. And I wanted to show you how we're integrating AI into these SaaS applications as well. So I'll start with that. One of the use cases I wanted to share with you is this. Bear with me. Is this Viva Sales demo that unfortunately I have a trouble playing the demo. Let me skip to the other part. This one, shows you the application level use case, maybe even better. Many of you know Power BI. We are at the AI conference, so I'm sure many of you with data analytics background know Power BI. It's business intelligence tool for data visualizations, not only. And if you use this tool, usually you come to this point when you need to create, measure or KPI in this what we call DAX language. This is very much Excel-like oriented language. It's not so easy to create a KPI with this language. It needs some training. But now with natural language, you can actually define what you want to achieve. What is your business goal? And this can actually create DAX for you with power of GPT. This is now possible. So you only define the metric, the KPI in business language. We return the code. You can use it right away. And you can define new measures, new KPIs in Power BI right away. So this is one of the examples I wanted to show you. How we're integrating that latest innovation in AI space into products like Power BI. Coming back to Azure AI, because this is the focus of this presentation, I really wanted to walk you through some, applied AI services, what we call, around specific scenarios, whether it's, creating your own chatbot, setting up intelligent search with cognitive search service, form recognizer, indexing videos. These services are now available in our cloud and can be used right away. Even business analysts can use this because it's mostly about calling an API. You don't need, a big technical background for this. And then we have a set of services which we call cognitive services, which are all about pre-trained large models around vision, speech, language, decision, and even a set of large models from OpenAI family. This is the company that we partner with heavily. You might have read the news. So this is now integrated into Azure as first tier or tier one service. Let's put it that way. And then we have ML platform, which we call Azure Machine Learning, and this is all about empowering data scientists and even business analysts how to create machine learning models in code-based scenarios or even in low-code scenarios as well. So I'll start with the applied AI services. I think the best way to demonstrate the power of all these different cognitive services and applied services is with this video analyzer service that we have available. You can utilize this to actually upload a video you have. Think about lectures at your university. Think about training videos at your corporation you work with or you work for. You upload these videos, and we can extract metadata from these videos, like what people are in the video, what are the topics, what are the keywords. So I wanted to show you this actually in real life, how this service looks like. So when I go here, I'm using Unicorn University video that I found publicly available. Hope you don't mind. And it's actually starring one of my colleagues, František. So, František, if you don't want to be in the video, please speak up. But I guess it's too late right now. So I'll play the video. It goes like this. It's about recruiting. It's about career opportunities. Something that František speaks about in the video, and it's in Czech language. This is what I want to stress. It's in Czech language. It can recognize the faces. You can even skip to the part of the video where the people are. It recognizes the keywords that are highlighted in the video, even labels, some of the things that appear in the video as well, and even brands like, it recognizes Microsoft as a corporation, so it put them as a brand label as well. You can even switch to timeline to really see the whole transcript of the video. So, this is just an interface, but think about it. You can get all these metadata in JSON, in programmatic way, integrated into your application. You can set up intelligent search on top of it. So imagine a scenario, with universities or with enterprise companies, whether it's lectures or training videos. You can set up this intelligent search, and you can search through, even thousands of videos. Let's say you're interested in a topic of cloud computing delivered by a specific person. It shows you the videos. It shows you even the minute and second when the topic appears by this person. You can just skip through all of other content and get right to the topic that you're interested in. So this can be now achieved just by putting the videos into the cloud. Using this service, you can actually set up this intelligent search with your videos. So it combines several AI approaches. It's focused on entity extraction. It's focused on how to get text from audio. So all of these services combined can achieve and enable such a scenario. So let me go back to the presentation, because I have another use case I wanted to show you, which is about extracting valuable information from forms. Think about paper-based documentation. Think about all the PDFs you have that are mostly, it's not very readable by machines. You cannot really build applications on top of this data. It's actually pretty hard, to extract information from PDF. It's not that easy, but this can be now achieved pretty easily. We have this service called Form Recognizer. So again, I got some material from Unicorn. I found this document about policy, about admissions for this year, 2022-2023, and you can see in this form, I'll zoom in so you can see it. It can actually recognize in these key value pairs that we're talking about this year. It was published in 2021. It was, signed by this this person. Look, it's not perfect. It maybe, it even shows you the level of confidence here on the right side. But the magic comes here. You can recognize even whole paragraphs, and then the result is this JSON. So you transfer the PDF or paper-based document, even you have pictures of, into this JSON format that you can then integrate into your applications, set up business processes on top of it, take actions on top of it, and it even gives you a code that you can immediately import into your application and call this service right away. So this can now be achieved. Think about all these scenarios you can use this for. If you have thousands, millions of documents like this, you can search through it in a very easy manner. You can structure the documents and extract the information that you truly need. So this is another example of using AI in the cloud. I also wanted to spend some time on this collaboration between OpenAI and Microsoft. And I have to say, OpenAI actually deserves the credit for the latest innovation, including GPT that they came up with. We are partnering with them closely, as many of you know. But they are the ones who actually came up with these amazing models like GPT, Codex, Tele. These are the models that create all the buzz in the space right now. I actually do not want to speak about prompting the GPT because you've seen the use cases in the last couple of weeks everywhere. It's it's all over the internet. I'm pretty sure you use it every day as well to help you maybe with work, with your studies. So I don't want to talk about it. What I wanted to focus on actually as part of this presentation is to give you an idea what are the limits of these models. And I believe the best way how to demonstrate this is I'll guide you to this session called Sparks of AGI, delivered by Sebastian Bubek. Is part of Microsoft Research. Because we are collaborating with OpenAI closely, Microsoft Research actually had access to GPT for months already, even prior releasing ChatGPT before all this hype. And they were trying to basically answer this question if GPT is intelligent or not, based on the definition from psychology that, as we know intelligence right now, as it's defined. It turns out it's defined, with this ability to reason, to plan, to solve problems, to think abstractly, to comprehend complex ideas, and to learn quickly. And what Microsoft Research believes, it can actually pass through all these tests, pretty well. They think it still cannot really help us with planning. It cannot still, really learn quickly. But over time, it will get better and better. So I'm not going to spoil it to you. I'm not going to say if GPT is intelligent or not. Please watch the video. But I wanted to show you and guide you that, if you're interested in GPT and OpenAI in specific, this session is absolutely great. Instead, what I did, because as I said, they're pushing the limits of what can be done with GPT, right? This Microsoft Research. And I took several examples from this presentation because I find them super exciting. One of them that I had to take is draw a unicorn in Tixi because we're, at this unicorn conference. So I had to take unicorn example. If you do not know what Tixi is, it's a graphical language that only allows you to use these geometric shapes like, triangles, like circles. So think about it. It's actually super easy prompt. It's only five words, but the challenge is actually it's quite a challenge. To draw animal only in these shapes. I certainly couldn't do it. It would take me quite a long time, and the result would not be nice. I can guarantee that. So this is what GPT-4 actually came up with, the latest version of OpenAI GPT. Look, if you had me guess what kind of animal this is, I would probably guess it's an unicorn. I know it's not perfect. It still has a long way to go, but the fact that it was able to come up with this picture only with these Tixi shapes, in my mind, it's pretty extraordinary. And to show you the leap, because this is what I want to actually demonstrate, the difference between GPT-4 and GPT-3, because you don't really see that when you do, these general prompts that we use on a daily basis, like all of us, like, find me top sneakers in 2023, sort them by price, this is what I want to see. You don't really see the difference between GPT-3 and GPT-4 there. But here with this kind of challenging prompts you do. So GPT-3 came up with this, the same prompt. So I'm not sure what kind of animal this is. I wouldn't guess it's an unicorn. It's a massive difference when you think about it. Look, another example I wanted to demonstrate here is actually the creation of this game. So again, Microsoft Research, what they did with GPT-3, this is what ChatGPT runs on. They wanted to create a game where you have an avatar, you have all these attackers, attacking you, and you have some challenges to overcome. So they asked ChatGPT to actually return a bunch of code. Then it returned a bunch of code. They ran it in Visual Studio, and this is the game that came up. GPT-4 actually came up with a game that looks pretty neat, in my opinion. If I saw this on the App Store, I might have downloaded the game because it looks pretty fun. So again, it demonstrates the difference between GPT-3 and GPT-4 in my mind very well. This is about pushing the limits. This is what nowadays can be done with GPT-4. And the main difference, as Microsoft Research is showing here, is that the main difference is that GPT-4 can even come up with complex programs of over 500 lines of code. It can follow instructions precisely. And the game, the difference between the game, you can see by yourself. So it's not only GPT-3 and 4. This is what all the hype is about. But I wanted to stress that there are some really other cool models that are actually available nowadays. Codex, mainly for coders and programmers, they're well known. Maybe you have heard of this service called GitHub Copilot that helps developers to write code. This is pretty fascinating in my view. And then DALL-E, this is a service that actually takes a prompt and it generates an image. So this is AI-generated cat on the right side of the slide. And again, I want to go away from and abstract from all these like general prompts that you can imagine with GPT. I want to talk about enterprise level scenarios that this can enable. I think this is super interesting when you think about it. And for that, I have actually another demo prepared for you. So let me go to this prompt playground. This is actually using GPT-4 in the background. And you can see here conversation between doctor and patient. So you give a text to the GPT, you click generate, and what it can actually generate is it can recognize the name of the doctor, it can recognize the name or the type of patient, even with ID, and it can summarize the issue they're talking about in just a couple of words, the issues with focus and memory in general. So think about this. This is very practical because suddenly it doesn't only returns text, it can actually return JSON, which can be then ingested into your transferred into your, let's say, DocumentDB database, any JSON database that you might want to use. An application can actually take this data and maybe take some action. Maybe business process can be created on top of this. But the fact that we can now understand the text, understand that the complex messages and interaction between doctor and patient, summarize the text, populate that into the DB, and create applications on top of it. I think it's fascinating. So, when you talk about progress with GPT, I think it's all about creating these enterprise level scenarios, or even scenarios for startups that can leverage this power of GPT. This is truly fascinating in my mind. So going back to presentation, I also wanted to show you one really cool example that helps with coding, with programming. So many of you might know COBOL. It's a very old language, I think developed in 1960. And when you read the syntax, it's actually pretty hard. So, I can do some Python, but COBOL, to understand COBOL, it's actually pretty hard. But what you can do with Visual Studio Code, with GitHub Copilot now, is to translate this code into different language, Python, and the model behind can do this in just a couple of seconds. And this is pretty fascinating to me, pretty impressive, because what used to take days or even weeks to actually transform your code from one framework to another can now be achieved in almost instantly. The code might not work perfectly. It might need some changes. It maybe needs some intervention from human, but the fact that it can simplify the translation between one framework to another, I think this fast and this with this precision, I think that's pretty impressive. So think about all these coders and programmers that used to do this, the work they usually hate, taking one code base and transforming the code to another. They can actually now invest their time into more creative tasks and some coding that actually adds value to the application, not only transforming code from one code base to another. This is mostly for reference because at Microsoft we get these questions. We want to know as a company, as your customer, what kind of capabilities and use cases we can enable with Azure OpenAI, with these large language models or other type of models in the AI space. And we have it ready. We have slide decks describing all these scenarios, from content generation to summarization to code generation, semantic search. We then get asked about this question. Okay, but I'm in a specific industry, I'm in specific vertical, I'm working in healthcare, for instance. What kind of scenarios you can enable in healthcare? And again, we have these use cases described. I'm not going over them because that would take a lot of time, but this is more for your reference. I'll try to distribute the presentation afterwards, so hopefully you can get to the presentation, or please contact me. And I can share this. I can share this with you. The other question we get to ask a lot, and I think this is actually where most of the value will be coming from these models in the future. How can we take our own data, let's say our company data, and combine it with power of Azure OpenAI, meaning GPT models, but not only. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I only want to guide you. Maybe if you're interested in this space, please look up this GitHub repo, ChatGPT plus enterprise data with Azure OpenAI. We have samples, we have architectures describing these use cases where you can really take power of OpenAI and leverage, for instance, intelligent search on top of your own data that's sitting in databases, in files, wherever. You can take that data and run intelligent search on top of it. So this is pretty exciting use case in my view. So we spent some time talking about these specific applied AI services, cognitive services like vision, speech, language decision, OpenAI service. We covered some of them. In my last part of the presentation, I really wanted to focus on machine learning platform. Let's say you're a data scientist, you're a business analyst, you want to create your own models on top of our platform in the cloud in a fast and scalable manner. So we have this platform ready. As you might know, if you work in the data science field, training a model actually, or building a model, it's got several stages. You first need to get the data, process the data. You need to train the model with some algorithm, machine learning algorithm, and then you need to operationalize, meaning you need to deploy the service so it can be accessed by actual users. And this is usually the ML ops diagram, how it looks like, and the set of services we have available in this platform can help you with that. So certainly we have tools like Jupyter notebooks in the cloud. We have even Spark clusters that can really help you with the computing power. You can leverage all that if you're interested in developing machine learning models in programmatic way with latest frameworks. whether it's Azure ML SDK, with popular Python frameworks for machine learning, it's ready, it's set up for you in the cloud. But what I actually wanted to talk about is the kind of like the step in the middle. You want to learn and start developing machine learning models, but you actually do not want to code. You only want to describe the process and define the process which you want to achieve without coding. And this is what Machine Learning Designer is for. This is a service that it's quite popular here in our Azure cloud. And I can even show you, how it looks like in real life. So you have all these predefined modules here. We're in the Designer tab. You have data available here. You have all these data transformation models like adding columns, adding rows. These are, when you're familiar with SQL, these are pretty much SQL operations in one way or another. You can do many different data transformations that can be also achieved by SQL or by Python. You have all these machine learning algorithms that you can leverage. So you don't need to write the machine learning algorithms by scratch or not even using a framework. Python, you can just drag and drop the latest, what we believe is the latest and stable version of that algorithm out there. It's managed by Microsoft, so you only leverage, the managed model or the managed algorithm definition that we have ready for you. Whether it's decision trees, whether it's linear regression, whether it's neural network regression. We can also support clustering, we can support classification, two-class, multi-class. So you decide what type of machine learning problem you want to solve. You bring that algorithm in, and you can use it right away. If that's not enough, you also have ability to write R or Python scripts on your own as part of the step in that flow. And how it looks like actually is that you start with the data. You then transform the data to the shape that you need. You select a couple of columns, you clean the missing data, you normalize the data, especially numerical values between, so they're between 0 and 1. You split the data to the training set and test set. This is, commonly done to leave that test set away so it can be actually used to evaluate the performance of the model. You train the model, you score the model. This is where inferencing is happening, and then you evaluate the model at the very end. So after this is run, this pipeline, you submit it, and after it's finished, this is how it looks like. So you have all these steps. It shows you if it went well or not, and you can actually see how the data is changing with every step, which is quite powerful. So here I'm using a data set about cars from car dealership and their prices. So we have all these attributes like, what's the model of the car, how many doors it's got, what's the body style, etc., etc. And the very last column is price. This is our target column that we're trying to predict. So think about it. If you cover this price column, you abstract from it, you take all these features that you might have available. You want to buy a new car, or you actually want to sell a new car, and you don't know how to price it. You can use all these attributes, and based on historical data, you can, you can forecast what that price could be. So, this model can be used for that, for instance. You clean the missing data, and again, with every step, you see how the data is changing here. So it's super simple to understand what's actually going on behind with this training and processing the data. You then split the data, and you get to the very last step, which is about evaluation. And remember, we used linear regression, so you have something called the root mean squared error here, which is typically used to evaluate the performance. And you then evaluate as a data scientist if this amount it's actually good or not, but this is the error that you get, and you evaluate, hey, this model it's good enough or not. If it's not good enough, you can actually, change the processing steps, you can experiment. It's all about experimentation. And what this platform allows you to do, you can experiment in a fast manner without coding knowledge. And all of the steps are actually predefined for you. You just need to experiment which one to use in order to achieve the best results. After you're done, you can click publish, and this can be actually deployed as an application in the cloud. So you can start using it right away. So this is quite powerful. So for the last part of my presentation, what I wanted to show you is a couple of resources I wanted to leave you with. So again, I'll try to distribute the presentation to those who are interested, but I also want to make sure you are aware of these resources. We have this 0 to Hero in 4 weeks with Azure AI learning opportunities. So if you're interested in that, bunch of videos and training material, aka.ms/AI learning journey. If you want to know how to, consume and develop machine learning models in the cloud, this program is for you. If you wanna take it one step further and you're technical, then we have all these technical certifications ready for you with learning materials on MS Learn. It starts with Azure AI Fundamentals. It goes or proceeds with Azure AI Engineer and then Azure Data Scientist. I've done first 2. I'm now preparing for Azure Data Scientist. So if there's anyone interested to actually learn with me, let me know. We can create like a learning study group in coming weeks. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with, the last resource, is this what we call AI Business School. So for any business stakeholders out there watching this presentation, this was created in partnership with INSEAD, one of the top business schools in the world. And it shows you how AI can impact your specific industry. So it's very much verticalized by specific industries. Great content. I've gone through this. It's very well built, in my opinion. So if you're interested, Microsoft.com/AI Business School, and you can start learning right away. So that's it from my side. I hope it was valuable to you. I hope it was practical, so you could actually sense, what's going on in the AI space in the cloud. And hopefully I left you with some resources so you can continue your learning journey in the cloud. Again, I'm more than happy to discuss with any of you, if you're interested to learn more about Azure, about AI on Azure, please let me know, reach out, and I'm more than happy to get connected. So that's it from my side. I'm returning word to the studio.
So thank you for such comprehensive description. The first question that come to my mind is actually something that I might know the answer already, but I will ask if the AI task could be very complicated, and if you run it on the cloud, it would be like very much dependent on the resources and stuff. So how do you solve the situation if the tasks start to be very high demanding and really the resources requests are growing terribly high?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and this is what actually cloud is good for in my view, because what you typically can do is to really leverage power of the cloud for only limited period of time. So meaning you can take a really heavy compute intensive task that requires, for instance, machine learning model training. You can set up a cluster of VMs or can run it on Spark. And you can actually, scale up or horizontally and run it for a couple of minutes, couple of hours, and then shut it down. So you only use the resources for limited time just to train that model, and then you can actually, shut it down and not to pay for those resources anymore. So, in my view, cloud can be quite powerful when it comes to machine learning, training and experimenting, because you only do it for limited. Usually, you do it for very limited time, and you don't need that resources anymore. So this scalability, up and down, horizontally, so you move from one cluster, couple of VMs, thousands of VMs. This is what can be enabled.
Okay,
Thank you.
Jakube, thank you for a great presentation. This will not be a question. This will be only some stating from my side that I want to thank you. Thank you to Microsoft because we have a really strong partner here, and thanks to Microsoft, we can use and leverage OpenAI, Microsoft provided models. And right now, for example, we are trying to teach and land neural network, our architecture, to make the development more effective. So there are many opportunities in front of us, and I hope that we will fulfill them and that we will follow them together, and that you will help us on this journey.
Oh, I will. I'm glad to hear that. So, let's keep talking for sure.
Thank you.
So that's great to see that the chain of providing services is really functioning. So we've seen. Thank you very much for presentation. We have some time limitations, so we have jumped to a next presentation. But thank you very much to be our guest.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.